My name's Jason Hawkins-Row. I've got a company called Aponic. We do a vertical soilless growing system. And I'm going to have to stand for this, and the more tech savvy of you will understand this. I've got a brand new special 3D PowerPoint. Not many people have got them, but it's actually in the room. So this is actually our vertical soilless growing tower. So it is hollow, and it works by placing the plants in the front there, literally held by the stem. So the roots are presented into this chamber at the back here. We then spray the roots with a nutrient mix through a nozzle at quite high pressure, so we get very fine droplets. And we spray them for about 10 seconds every 20 minutes or so. So the whole unit runs for about 30 seconds an hour, taking energy. And what that does is it gives the plant roots all the water and nutrient it needs, but it also allows a lot of oxygen to be supplied to the roots and absorbed by the roots. So this gives amazing vigour in the plants. So you get about 30% faster growth, you get about 30% bigger yields, but the real beauty is that what you actually get there is it allows the plant to form its oils and sugars properly, so you get really good tasting food coming out of it. So this is a very, very light, very commercial way to grow a lot of food. And we can grow herbs, salad crops, fruit and vegetables. Interestingly, we tried to just pop some potatoes in the front the other day, and they grow in 42 days and use 2.5 litres of water per plant. And so we're now experimenting with all sorts of different ways to use these to grow some interesting crops, wasabi being one of them. The Chinese link, but we'll come back to that. So now we've got this, we're looking at using it for commercial food production. We've now been taken under the wing of NIAB, so we can actually do some amazing experiments now. We're doing a sustainable intensification of agriculture project in Africa, and we've got 40 farms in Kenya that are starting to trial this, growing everything from pyrethrum to keep the bugs down to kale and beans for staple food products. But that means we can also start growing crops like tea and grapes and what have you, so we can actually start producing a wine region out in Africa. Now that's, I'm going to start name dropping now. We got taken to number 10 yesterday. And that was really interesting. You've got a lot of people there who are interested in the reality of not producing enough food in the UK to cover a guns and butter economy type situation. And so we're looking to start using spaces that are not usually used for farming. So this offers an enormous potential for true urban farming. And what we're getting is we're taking farmers that have I bump into a lot of farmers in London who are the second son of a farmer who's got a fairly small 500-600 acre farm, and the second son is almost guaranteed to be unemployed nowadays. Very often people recognise that scenario in the room, and that we can take those guys, because they're farmers, they've been farmers all of their lives, and we can give them the opportunity to use an industrial area or some contaminated land or some farm buildings that are not being fully utilised, and turn those into low input, high value output farms, so they can actually start farming again without having to get the acres in, and they can actually now have the added bonus of being very much more local to where the food is being consumed. So we can put these farms in towns, on the edges, on the very peripheries of town, so the food miles are almost zero, and you're getting good quality, consistent crops with no slugs and no herbicides, because there are no weeds in a system like this. And so it's fun. It's the sort of food that people want to buy and feed their children. It's clean, it's consistent, and it tastes amazing. So that's the sort of direction we're heading in with this. We can see that perhaps with a fruit farm, there could be something to do with strawberries there, and I know we're talking to Riddle at the moment, and so perhaps there might be some really interesting trials to be run there with little scarlets and things like that. And we can start enhancing these things, so we're not reliant on any other crops being brought in from outside the UK, but we can actually start producing crops in the UK. That was a second word. I've walked through your strawberry fields a number of times, but we can now start producing that food in the UK for the UK consumption and of a quality that we can start exporting to Europe and making it a financial goal. So that's what we do. That's what we are at the moment a small business, but things are happening all around the world with our products. So we are probably not looking at staying small for very much longer. And we're now looking to disseminate this into working farms and into farmers that can see the value of this, and we're looking also to work it through distributors and get it in more and more countries. So that's what we're up to, and thank you so much for inviting me to talk, Annie.
That's
It's a
all right.
pleasure.
Thank you very much.